When it comes to talking to the Russians, John Boehner says niet. The House Speaker denied a request from Russian diplomats to meet with him to discuss Syria. The Russians have been reaching out to Republican and Democratic members of Congress to influence the congressional vote on Obama's plans for a military strike. This seems a little odd to me. Is it normal that diplomats of a foreign country would try to directly influence local politicians instead of going through the normal State Department channels that they're supposed to?
Well, right. I mean, constitutionally, the executive branch, the presidency, has the authority to negotiate diplomatically with other countries. But this isn't actually all that unusual. And I think you also see on foreign policy, occasionally members of Congress kind of either go kind of rogue, like John McCain going and meeting with members of the Syrian opposition a couple of months ago, or just have, sort of run-of-the-mill diplomatic talks, good sort of, we'll be friendly with France and send some people to Paris this month. This does happen where you see members of Congress meeting with foreign leaders, but on a really high-profile issue like a war, for instance, this is unusual and is not something that's particularly common.
Also, it strikes me as a little bit different if these are Russian diplomats. I mean, if they were members of the Duma in Moscow who were just here on a kind of, hey, let's go on a vacation and sort of chat to some congressmen while we're here and just shake hands and make sure that the US-Russian ties are all good, yeah, maybe that's kosher. But for diplomats who are presumably from their equivalent of the State Department to come and try to influence policy at a domestic level directly to congressmen, it seems a little bit odd to me. But anyway, what's Boehner? I mean, I guess it's then not unusual for Boehner to actually reject their overtures.
Right. I mean, Boehner said no, he's not interested in meeting with the Russian diplomats right now. And Boehner's been very clear about what his position on the conflict in Syria is. He supports a U.S. military strike against the Assad regime. So, I don't think any type of meeting between Boehner and Russian diplomats would be particularly fruitful. But it clearly shows that what's going on in Syria right now isn't just about the Assad regime and its potential legitimacy with the people in Syria. This is a major international conflict that could, in many ways, become a proxy war with a lot of other countries.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder whether there's anything that they could have told Boehner or any other congressman that would have made them change their minds. Like, if you do it, we're going to hit back in some way.
Right. Or you could, I mean, even without making an explicit threat, you could say something like, you could imagine a Russian diplomat saying, look, this will escalate the violence in Syria. This will force other countries to get involved. It's not obvious that you're going to create some sort of, harmonious resolution where people just stop using chemical weapons because of this. But yes, I mean, I think diplomats often speak in veiled threats, and if you heard them say something like that, the implication would clearly be Russia doesn't want to get involved, but Russia will get involved if they have to. I think Boehner already understands the geopolitical situation, and he's comfortable with his position, though.